Yesterday on my dyno runs, I was running into problems with maintaining boost. I think I found the main culprit behind it. This boost controller could not maintain boost. I don't know whether or not it's because I re-tapped everything for NPT to run AN fittings or what the reason is, but it will not work properly. So I had to change boost controllers. My new boost controller now, it's the same model, it's just no longer connected with the AN fittings. And it was not re-tapped, and the plug on the back side is still maintained. Also, my turbocharger that I have right now is a T3 T4. Now the airflow characteristics of this turbo should get me well into the 500 range. The issue is my transmission. My transmission has a few modifications to it, but still, once you get over 400 foot-pounds of torque, it is just a lot for this factory transmission to handle. Although it did do a great job yesterday maintaining itself and staying together. Even though it was a little scary at times, we thought maybe we were going to snap some drive shafts. But everything stayed together, and it got me home, which was over a 2-hour drive back. And just on another note, I got about 22 miles to the gallon on the way home. Actually getting great gas mileage. Also, the fuel system has been completely upgraded. RC Engineering injectors, 1000 cc's, which are plenty big for the 500 range. Aeromotive fuel pressure regulator, Russell fittings, the whole 9 yards. Everything was built for 600 plus horsepower easily. My goal was to find out if the motor, the way I built it, because nobody has ever done this before, this is the first motor of this statute that I know of. I have never seen one on the internet. I've never heard of one. The stuff that I did to this motor is one of a kind, custom. 90% of these parts for this motor were CNC machined to my specifications. The intake manifold was made custom by myself. The intake manifold, I'm not going to give too much information about that because that is one of the key factors to why this motor is going to make so much power. Also, the cam gears. I don't know of anybody that's ever used adjustable cam gears on this motor because there is not a direct bolt on for this motor. These bolts were custom made on a mill to center the cam gear on the cam. These cam gears ride directly on this bolt. It has centered them on the cam. Custom. I'll give that secret away. If you guys can mill yourself a bolt, you can use cam gears for this motor. Also, the exhaust manifold was custom built by myself. And this exhaust wrap, I'll tell you what, I just had this motor out running it, and I mean, the pipe is warm, but I mean, you can touch this thing. I mean, after the dyno runs, you could touch this. This exhaust wrap is great. This is titanium exhaust wrap. This is really good stuff. And it's also done down through the downpipe. Now, one downfall to this motor, I wouldn't really say it's a downfall, but the oil that I put in this motor is, well, it's a lot of oil to say the least. 10 quarts of oil. The oil pan was completely redone, and a lot of the subframe had to be redone to accommodate for such a big oil tank. But I'll tell you what, guys, if you upgrade your oil pan and you get at least 8 to 10 quarts of oil in the motor, it will run so cool for you guys that you will not have issues with overheating. I mean, it helps with your coolant temp. I mean, it just goes a long way. Oil, keep the oil cool, your motor's going to live. And it also helps with the turbo. And also, the oil cooler. I mean, this is a pretty big oil cooler, but it is well worth the upgrade along with the radiator. If you're going to get up over 400 horsepower, you need to have a good radiator and you need to have a good oil cooling system. some further research that I did after the dyno run yesterday, I found that my wastegate, the spring inside there, was actually not the right size spring that I thought it was originally. And that was one of the reasons why I also could not maintain boost. It was a combination between the wastegate and the boost controller. But after this is all hatched out, I should be back down to do a couple more dyno pulls in a couple weeks here, and I definitely should get up over the 500 horse mark. Also, since I'm going to be going over 500 horsepower, I am going to take a spare transmission with me just so I can get home, because I intend on destroying this one the next time I go down there. It is just it's gonna eat it up. And I also have to do a couple other modifications because of the drive shafts in the back. When we're inside the car doing these dyno pulls, if one of those drive shafts would snap, I mean, it would come right in at us. So I'm going to put probably a 1/4 inch steel plate around the drive shaft to protect anyone that's inside the vehicle, because I don't want to see anybody get hurt.